AI has revolutionized the kids' rhymes niche, as well as the kids' learning activities niche, making it easier than ever to create these styles of videos. However, the next hot revolution is here in the form of kids' yoga lessons. This niche isn't exactly something new that just popped up. In fact, one of the most popular channels that has been teaching kids yoga for about 3 years now is this one called Yoga Guppy. And as you can see, the numbers on their videos are really impressive. The only issue that prevented most people from jumping into this niche was the fact that their videos weren't faceless, which is obviously a huge turnoff for anyone who doesn't want their face all over the internet. But then out of the blue comes these two channels with a completely modern and, more importantly, faceless approach to creating these videos with similar, if not better, results in record time. Both channels have only been posting these videos for 4 months, and the results they're getting is incredible. Besides the fact that most of their videos are already bringing in hundreds of thousands of views, some go into millions, which has resulted in both channels having more than 70,000 subscribers. So they essentially took an existing niche and made it cool and modern. Honestly, the strategy they're using would have been difficult just a few years back. Since this wouldn't work with some poorly drawn images, they would have needed to pay a professional to draw all of the images that they use in their videos, which honestly would have been very expensive. But it's the age of AI, and you only need a prompt to generate these professional images. The impressive part is that these videos can be created with completely free AI tools. You don't even need to spend any time thinking about the tools you'll need, or even the exact process of creating these videos. That's what I'm here for. I'll be giving you the entire blueprint to creating videos like these two channels without spending a dime. First, we'll look at how to brand the channel with a unique character. This will be the same character that you'll be using in all of your videos. From there, we'll leverage AI to create an SEO-optimized channel description, as well as the necessary tags for the channel. Once that's done, we'll go over creating titles or themes like the channels we're modeling. This style of video doesn't include any script or voiceover, so we won't be adding those either. Instead, we'll go straight to generating image prompts for the various different poses or techniques that the character will be performing, and then use the prompts that the AI has provided to create the necessary images with the help of the reference character. We'll even go through the process of creating the same unique style background that the channels are using, in addition to every other element you'll need like the hourglass and more. Finally, we'll conclude the lesson with a short course on actually editing the videos in CapCut. We won't be going through the thumbnail creation process, as we can actually grab a screenshot from the video during editing and use that as the thumbnail. I'm going to make the entire process easy to follow, so if you're ready to start that YouTube channel that you've been pushing back, let's get started. You probably already know how to create a new channel as well as how to come up with the channel name, so I'm not going to be showing that. Instead, let's go directly to actually creating the character that will be used to brand the channel. The kind of character you choose for your channel depends on your preference, but it's what you'll be sticking with for every single video that you drop. So you can take your time with this step to avoid any mistakes. But one thing that you'll need is a prompt to help you create that. I've already made one available for you in this Google Doc. I'll be posting a link to the document in the prompts channel of my Discord server. All you have to do to access it is to hit the Discord link in the video description and it'll take you there. You'll see the link to the document on a card titled Kids Yoga. Simply click on it and you'll have access to the file. I'm also going to add any characters and image resources that will be used in this tutorial inside a Google Drive in the Files channel of the same server, so feel free to check it out. Now, once you've opened the Google Doc, copy this prompt and then take it to your favorite image generator. Like I said at the beginning, these videos can be created with completely free tools, so I'm going to be using ImageFX for this demonstration. But if you're feeling fancy, Seedream, Midjourney, and ChatGPT can also get the job done for you. Paste the prompt inside the text area and choose the aspect ratio that you want. Now, normally, it's advisable to choose the square aspect ratio since this image will be used as the logo. However, this is going to be the reference character for the channel. So you need to create a simple image of the character standing still. Hit create, and these are the images that the AI has generated. These images are good, but as you can see, the clothing and hair color are all pink. That's the default color in the prompt that was given to the AI. If you want something different, you'll need to change them. Let's try bright yellow clothing with the same hairstyle. You simply need to change both colors in the prompt and then test out the results. These characters don't look bad, so you can play around with the prompt for the exact detail that you want. In this case, I'm going to make the character black and test out a few colors and hairstyles. Once the character that you want is ready, it's time to change the aspect ratio to make it square. Since the channel is about yoga, the character needs to be doing something related to that for the logo, so we need to change it from standing to one of the yoga poses. Sitting works just fine. It'll make the character fit nicely inside a square aspect ratio background. You can use ChatGPT or any other tool that can take the reference character and make changes while maintaining the character consistency. Google's Nano Banana is great at this, and the best part is that it's free as well. So add the character image and make sure you choose Create Images from the drop-down. Then type this prompt, including the particular yoga pose you want. Both the English and Sanskrit names should give it the right direction. I don't want to butcher the pronunciation, so I'm not even going to attempt it. Once you're done, hit enter, and Nano Banana will produce the image of the character in the specified pose. Now you have the character, but the aspect ratio for the entire image needs to be square. This is easy to fix. Open any photo editor, Canva, Photoshop, or Photopea, and create a new square aspect ratio document. This Instagram one looks alright, so let's use that. Drag and drop the new image of the character inside, and scale and position her at the center of the canvas. The default background for this project is white, which is alright, but in case you want to change to something else, simply choose the color. In this case, I'm choosing black and then select the rectangle tool. Draw a rectangle around the canvas and move the layer below the character, if it's covering her. It's quite simple. You can even double-click the rectangle layer to choose another color in case you change your mind about the one you're using. Once you're done with everything, all you have to do is to export it as a JPEG image. I'm not going to carry you through the banner design, as that usually depends on the look you want to go for. You can even add a simple text to a background and you're done. However, if you want to create something like this channel, you'll have everything you need to know in order to create something similar by the end of this video. Let's look at creating the channel description and tags. I've made this step quite simple. You need to go back to the Google Doc and copy this prompt. Then paste it inside ChatGPT or whichever text generator that you prefer, and you'll have the description as well as the tags ready to go. Simple as that. One thing you need to keep in mind is that AI sometimes adds some random channel name in the description, so you need to replace those with your channel name. Now it's time to actually create content for the channel. But before we get started, if you're finding this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button. It's a nice way of telling the algorithm that I'm doing a good job, which signals it to recommend my content to other people. The first thing we need to do is to come up with the title or theme for the video. Copy this entire prompt for the Google Doc and paste it inside your text generator. You don't need to do too much here. All you have to do is to specify the number of topics that you want the AI to generate. So remove this placeholder and replace it with however many you want. I'm going with 20 for this demonstration, but feel free to go with any number. As you can see, the titles have similar pattern like the channels we're modeling. Choose the title or theme that you want to focus on for your video and move on to the next step. Since this niche doesn't really demand any script, you need to create various poses using the character. But first, you need not only the image prompts, but also the names of these poses as well. So copy this prompt from the document and paste it inside the text generator. Here you need to specify the number of yoga poses that you want for the entire video. So depending on how long you want the video to be, you can choose as many as necessary. Then also add the title or theme for the video. This makes it so that the AI only recommends poses that best fits the theme. Now if you look at the prompts that the AI has generated, you'll notice three parts. First is the name of the yoga pose, then there's the Sanskrit name in brackets, and finally a description of the pose. You'll be using the first two in the image generation, but the last one is just meant to give you an idea of the kind of image you should expect. The prompts are ready now, so it's time to generate the images. Make sure you have the character image ready and open your favorite consistent character generator. Let's first test and see the results from ChatGPT, since it can directly create images with transparent backgrounds. Make sure the character image is uploaded, and then add this text in addition to the yoga pose that you want the AI to generate. To avoid needing to remove the background, you can actually specify that you want the background to be transparent. Now check out the first result. This looks really good, so go ahead and generate the other images. If you're using Gemini, you only need to follow the exact same process. As you can see, the result looks good, but the images don't have transparent backgrounds, so you'll need to remove them with a tool like Adobe Background Remover. Simply drag and drop your image inside, and it'll remove everything, leaving only your character. Next, you need to create the background image for the video. But before that, let's grab a few resources. Videos from the channel we're modeling typically have a mandala flower showing in the background. You can grab them from your favorite stock image website. I personally like Vecteezy, so make sure you've selected vectors. I'll show you why vector images are best for this. Type the search term and look through the results for the one that you want for any specific video. You can use the same one every time, but just to add a bit of variation, try downloading a few. It's even possible to search for the specific color of flower, which goes with the color theme of your video. Now, since the downloaded image was in vector format, make sure the contents are extracted. You'll usually find about 3 files. The only one you need is the file with the EPS format. It's an Illustrator-style file format, but Photopea can open that perfectly. Drag and drop it inside and you'll see some files or folders. This artboard folder isn't necessary, so hide that by clicking the eye icon to remove it. Then go ahead and expand the other folder and turn off any background layer since the final image will be exported as a PNG file. There's this one layer for the flower, so double-click it and you'll get a pop-up. The image has different shades of a single color applied, which you can change if you want to. I recommend using different shades of the primary color for your project, which is also the clothing color that the character will be wearing for your video. You can easily identify the color by dropping the character inside the project. Then use the color picker to identify the color code that you need. Copy the code and either hide the character or simply delete it from the Photopea project. Then double-click the flower layer again and change this color to the copied color code. Select the next color, paste the same code, but this time make it lighter or darker like this. Repeat this for the others till you have the look you want. Now export the image as a PNG file. One other thing you're going to need is an hourglass to keep time. If you're like me, whose drawing skills peaked at kindergarten, drawing an hourglass isn't an option. So, we're going to be using a shortcut. Go back to Vecteezy again and search for an hourglass. The sand inside the hourglass needs to show movement, so make sure you download one that has the glass going from start to finish. This one looks good, so let's go with that. It needs to have the same color as the character, so extract the files and then drop the EPS one inside Photopea. As you can see, this one has a folder with a bunch of layers. You can change the color of the hourglass or just the sand. Instead of looking through the layers to find what exactly they correspond to, simply click on the sand and the layer will be selected. Then double-click and choose the color that you want. Repeat this for all the other images. This looks alright, but it looks like the image has a white background. Normally you should see the background layer at the bottom, but in case you don't see it, then it's probably tied to the folder itself. So you need to select all the layers and drag them outside the folder, leaving it empty. Now you can turn off the folder layer and the background goes with it. The next part is very important, so make sure you follow this process exactly as I'm describing it. Click and drag to select every layer that applies to each hourglass. What that does is that it selects all the layers associated with it. Once the layers for each hourglass have been selected, drag them inside a folder to group them and name it appropriately. Repeat this for all the others till they're all inside their named folders. Now what we want to do here is to make sure we align each hourglass at the center. That way, things become very easy for us during editing. You'll understand why. So let's start with the first one. Make sure you've hidden all the others, leaving that. Then with the folder selected, hit this icon and choose Align to Canvas. Finally, click this button to move the hourglass to the center. Export it as a PNG file with the appropriate name and repeat this for the other folders. I'm going to leave the first folder still visible and then unhide the second one to show you what's happening. If we align the second one as well, you'll notice that it's in the exact same position, which is really convenient. This means you can always replace each of the images with the other without any struggle at all during editing. Repeat this and export all the other hourglass images in their respective names. I like to use numbers. Now that we have everything ready, the next step is to actually create the background. So create a new document in Photopea with this aspect ratio. The final result will be exported at 4K resolution, which is why I'm choosing this. Designing the background doesn't need to be anything difficult. There's no single pattern. For example, you can select the rectangle tool and use it to draw something at the bottom with the same color scheme. If the color isn't right, hit fill and choose the one that works for you. Don't forget to turn off the stroke. Import the mandala image and position it exactly where you want it. You can even play around with the opacity if you'd rather have it in the background instead. This works fine, but the channel we're modeling prefers to add some stars to the background. It doesn't need to be included in the background directly if you want to animate them in place, but I'm going to add them directly. To create the stars, go to the Shape dropdown and choose this parametric shape. Make sure the color is set, and this is also set to shape. Specify the number of sides you want for the shape and select star from this dropdown. Now, you can click and drag to draw your star. If you want a 5-sided star, you can just choose that. And even change the color of any star you've drawn by selecting that particular layer. Click Fill and choose the color you want. To move the stars around, make sure the Move tool is selected, and then click and drag to move them around. I want a simpler background, so let's get rid of the shape at the bottom and expand the flower a bit. Move it to the right and position the stars well. I want to add a circle behind the mandala, so I'll choose the Ellipse tool and, while holding the Shift key, click and drag drag to draw it. If it's covering the flower, make sure you move the layer behind. The color of the circle is white, which blends with the background. So let's add a bit of shadow. Right-click the layer and choose Blending Options. Check Drop Shadow and choose the color. Now you can play around with the settings till you get the exact look you're aiming for. Once everything looks all right, it's time to export the entire background as a JPEG. The final step is to put everything together to create the video. But if you want your final product to have even higher resolution, make sure you upscale the images of the character. There are a bunch of online tools you can use, but my favorite tool is Upscale with a Y. It's open source and works locally on your computer, so feel free to download it. The process is quite straightforward, so I'm going to skip and dive right into editing the video. You can use any video editor you prefer, but we'll be using CapCut for this demonstration. So make sure it's open and then import all of your images. The first thing you need to do is to add a disclaimer at the start. You can design the page however way you want it, or simply use a white background. Drag and drop a white background image inside the timeline, and make sure the aspect ratio for the project is set to 16:9. Now to add the disclaimer, grab the default text and drop it at the beginning. I'll be leaving a template for the disclaimer in the Google Doc, so make sure it's copied, and then paste it in here. Change the color to something that pops like black or even the theme color for the video. Then format the text to make all of it fit inside the page. Don't forget to increase the line spacing if necessary. It doesn't need to be on screen too long. 4 seconds works just fine for me. The next frame after that needs to be some kind of collage of the various yoga poses that will be displayed in the video. So arrange them all, some at the top and the rest at the bottom. Make sure there's a bit of gap at the center. That's where you'll be adding the text for the title. Once you're done arranging the images, head over to Animation and look for an in animation that you like. The slide animations work great for this scene, so make sure that's applied to every single one of the character images that you added to the scene. It's not too nice having them all appear at the same time. Shift some of the images so they slide right, earlier than the others. You can do something like 1 each at the top and bottom, or in this case, I'm doing 3 at a time. Once you're done with that, it's time to add some stars to the scene. So drag and drop one inside the timeline and scale and position it appropriately. Duplicate and position that one as well. You can even make some smaller or larger than the others. No need to add individual animations to the stars. Simply right-click and put them inside a compound clip. Now you can add a simple in animation to all of them at once. Add the default text and change it to the topic. In this case, yoga for relaxing. Feel free to format it however you want and add an in animation to that as well. The amount of time the scene shows on the screen depends on your preference. For the next one, select all of these and trim them. Then bring in the main background as well as the first yoga pose and position the character directly over the flower shape. Now it's time to create the hourglass animation. So bring in the first one, which represents the start, and trim it to how long you want. Maybe you want it to last on the screen for a second or longer. It all depends on your preference. Bring in the next hourglass image after that one and drop it directly on top of the first one. Trim it to the same duration, and bring in the next image also on top of the new one and trim. Repeat this till you're done with the full cycle and the top part of the glass is empty. Now you can rearrange them one after the other like this. It creates a simple animation, which is pretty cool. Once you're all right with the duration, select them all and put them inside a compound clip. Make sure you add an animation to the character image and move the hourglass clip somewhere like this, and add an animation to that one as well. This way, the hourglass comes in right when the character has fully entered the scene. Now there's one scene before this one that I missed. It's quite simple. It's just an image of a yoga mat and some text at the top. So I'll move these clips a bit forward and add the mat as well as the text. Don't forget to add animations to these two as well. For the text, you can actually select any characters or words and change the color to match the theme of the video. Bring in the default text and add the English name for the pose at the top. Duplicate the layer, but this time add the Sanskrit name at the bottom. Don't forget to add out animations to each of these layers. This may seem like a lot of work, but the truth is that we're done with the difficult part. The rest of the video will simply involve copy-pasting the same hourglass, changing the names of the yoga pose, and finally changing the character to match. It's really that simple. One other thing you can do, preferably before you even start duplicating the hourglass clips, is to find some form of sound effect. Something like a clock chime should work just fine. You can look for the sound effect from CapCut's library or download from Pixabay. Then, double-click the hourglass compound clip to open and add it. You only need the first chime from the sound effect, so split it and arrange the first one. Make sure you trim it, if necessary, to fit the duration of the clip and duplicate it for the remainder. Now it's time to add background music. So grab one from your favorite royalty-free music library, something that kids will find interesting, and drop it inside the timeline and decrease the volume slightly if it's too loud. Feel free to trim any excess if necessary. The video is almost ready, so look through the filters till you find one that you like and drop it inside the timeline. Don't forget to extend it to fill the duration of the video. This looks alright, but before we export it, you need to grab the thumbnail. Simply move the indicator to this part of the video showcasing the yoga poses as well as the title, and then hit this icon. Choose Export Still Frames and uncheck this option. Make sure the resolution is set anywhere from 1080p to 4K resolution and export. Your thumbnail will be saved in the specified location, so you can export the video at 4K resolution. Now let's check out the final result.